Welcome back to Missed Reps with Kanal and Adam. Everybody seems to be doing one, so now it's our damn turn. Let's do a mock draft, Adam. You ready?
Mock draft,
Mock
mock
draft.
draft.
We so eager for the draft. We have nothing else to look forward to, man. Free agency has gotten so damn boring right now.
Oh man, free agency is just it's all the little 1 year deals now, and you already had your major players out the way. So, but
Except
what
for
what?
Aaron Rodgers.
I love how some people tweeted. I think it was like Field Yates, and then they're like Aaron Rodgers to the Jets event, and they put in parentheses
Eventually.
eventually. So I was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. So here we are. We got this mock draft going. So why not control all the team's destinies today with our own mock draft?
Whatever we says go is like that. What's that anime? Death
Which
Notebook?
one? Oh.
What's it called?
um. Oh my
I
goodness.
rely on you for this stuff. Is it
No,
Death
it's like
Book?
you really caught you. How you gonna catch me with anime, bro? Like that, and it's
Is
even
it
on
Death Book? I think it's something Death Book.
Death Note. There you
Death
go.
Note. There we go.
It's like Notebook, but
Nope.
Death Note.
Death Note. Anyway,
So now
th-
we're signing everyone's. So yeah, everyone's probably laughing at me now for my anime knowledge, but don't worry,
Jamal
it can't.
Williams would be very disappointed in you.
Jabal Williams is like,
Don't be one of those. Don't be
don't be
one
one
of
of those.
those.
Oh man, but yeah, we got the mock draft here. We're in all 31 picks today because Dolphins said they want to just be cheaters 1 year, right, with Tom Brady. But there's only 31 picks. We're doing no trades today. We're just gonna do picks based on what we think is best for each team. So if we were the armchair GMs, what would these teams do?
Pocket the money and run off.
Oh, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So, yeah, I mean, ready to get this started, man?
Yeah, let's take it away. Go ahead and lead us off.
We have the Carolina Panthers at number one. I think we all know what the Carolina Panthers want to do, and it just has to
Has to
be a
be a kick.
special. It
It
has to
has
be
to
a
be a kick.
kicker.
I was gonna say that joke for when the Cowboys came up. You kind of ruined that for me.
This is like, look, man, great minds think alike. But no, I think
So,
we all know that these first two teams with Carolina and the Houston Texans, especially Carolina's big trade that we talked about before, they're all going to get a QB.
mm.
And Carolina, as of right now, has been tied to CJ Stroud. But my friend, I mean, hey, if you want to actually try to change up the order,
I think it's really 1A and 1B for Carolina and Texans, right? I think with the way that Carolina is trending, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what kind of offense Frank Reich wants to run with a new quarterback because he really never had that kind of opportunity at Indianapolis. But I think CJ Stroud can is probably the one that they would go with. What about you? What do you think?
no, I mean they've always been tied to CJ Stroud. They talk to him a lot. You even seen like their whole staff is actually quarterback friendly or just like even for rookie friendlies kind of thing, but they've all been talking CJ Stroud. Even though like, you have the choice of Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, I think either way, guys, and everyone else out there, it could either be Bryce Young and CJ Stroud or in this case CJ Stroud. And then, of course,
Fate settled.
if fate settled, Bryce Young is going to go to the Houston Texans. But the Texans, they need a little bit of like everything, still even from the last draft.
Yeah. I mean, their
Uh,
Texans actually like built out their team quite a bit, like in terms of like what they were doing on special teams and that kind of thing. But or not
of
special teams, but
course,
free agency. But Bryce Young, like that's the move that you're gonna do.
of course. But now here's the thing. This
This
is
is where it
like
gets
one.
interesting.
It does get interesting because I will say this is a no trade mock draft, but I feel like right now the Cardinals need. I personally think they need more picks. I don't think any edge player like Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter or whoever is going to change anything for them in the long run. Like just from one pick, I feel like they're going to trade this number three pick to who though? Who knows? But right now, they're not trading it. They said they're going to pick somebody, and going by what we've even said for ourselves, I'm more than likely to incline that they will pick Will Anderson Jr.
I can't disagree with you on that one. I think you're right. They are. It's they're gonna have a completely new regime when the draft comes. I don't even know, have they signed a GM yet, or
Oh yeah, they have a GM.
they
They have
got
a
a GM
GM.
now?
Oh yeah.
And so whatever they're thinking, because they're not tied to Kyler Murray, that kind of thing. And
No,
so,
yeah, they're
but yeah,
not.
I think they're gonna use that number three overall pick and get a lot of picks out of it.
Of course, but in this case, they're definitely going Will Anderson Jr. because J.J. Watt retired from the league. This man appeared on Pat McAfee's show and many other places, so who knows what he's going to do post NFL? But you know, they need an edge now. So
So,
Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama, the most decorated,
so
apparently defensive end.
time out really quick. It would be just a hypothetical scenario. It would
Ooh,
be interesting if a team traded him with them that was quarterback hungry, because
ooh,
I
yeah.
think I think that would throw a wrench in what Colts do as well, and we might be in a situation where the top 4 picks are all quarterbacks,
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
of
then
course.
in that scenario, Will Anderson Jr. lands on our plate.
Ooh, oh, of course. I would definitely take Will Anderson Jr., but unfortunately, they don't trade today.
Yeah,
All they do is just pick what they pick the best player on the board, and boom, Will Anderson.
yeah.
But now you do have a quarterback hungry team on the clock. That's the Colts right now at number 4. And I want to see what are your thoughts on what they should do with this pick, my friend.
Um, I mean, they gotta go quarterback. It's been one of those things. They haven't had stability at that position for like 5 years, 6 years. I mean, going all the way probably back to Andrew Luck. I think. Oh no, actually, don't they have like a stat where like they've had a new starting quarterback week 1 every year ever since Andrew Luck retired? I think that's something like.
Man, rest in peace to that man's career, but yes, yes
Yeah,
they have.
I think so. Who's the coach there now? I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on it, but I'll look it up on the side. It
Mhm.
really depends on so they're definitely gonna go with quarterback at this position, you think, right?
Yes, it's just a matter of I personally think, some people are going to say Anthony Richardson just because of what he's done at, during his pro days and stuff. Um but I also think they can go Will Levis as well. I mean, hey, Will Levis could drop, but honestly, I'm thinking that I'm going to be kind of spicy today. I think they're going to go Anthony Richardson for this one. I feel like Will Levis is going to drop. You haven't heard much from him. He's like a nice stout like quarterback, like not milk toast, mind you, but he's basically just like that. He's a good solid starter, but then Anthony Richardson can give you so much more, you know?
And so yeah, I just looked it up. Shane Steichen is the coach of the Colts now. He was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. And looking at the style of offense that those guys are running over there, I think he would very much prefer probably a dual threat quarterback in the scenario, and there probably isn't a better one than Anthony Richardson.
I mean, hey, with that offense that they have, they can obviously include Anthony Richardson. And so, you know what? We're going to be a little spicy. Anthony Richardson to the Colts from Florida. But now,
That is a hard one.
the truther, right? Seahawks, number 5 from the Denver trade.
So
Go.
what position group are we going to look at? We're going to look at D line probably, but
There's only about, yeah, you only have your D, well really there's only like a couple players you can do here. So we want D line, we want edge because Pete Carroll wants a mean D line. He wants that he wants that we're a problem like the
yeah.
49ers gave us in each of the games we played them. So we have a couple picks here. I don't think they're gonna dip anything lower than Tyree Wilson here. You're either gonna go after Jalen Carter or Tyree Wilson. And personally, for me, I think we should go with Tyree Wilson, take the best edge on the board, only because we did sign Draymond Jones. But I mean, of course, you can always add Jalen Carter in the mix. Of course, there is the off-field issues that you have to just be mindful of. But besides that, I mean, you have two solid, D linemen here. But I'm thinking Tyree Wilson. But what do you think, man?
Yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. Jalen Carter has just been kind of throwing up even more red flags, and in terms of like the whole, I mean, because this is like a job interview, right? When you do all these combine things, you're basically creating I mean, your college career is your resume, but you're also adding to it by getting your measurables out there, or
Mm-hmm.
doing like they do like what do you call it? Like not IQ tests, but like they do like rapid fire questions and stuff like that, just to get a sense of like who you are. And Jalen Carter's been skipping all of that. And like you said, went out, we paid big money for Draymond Jones. Um, who better to pair with him than a young, fast, long edge like Tyree Wilson?
That man, Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech to the Seattle Seahawks. So, in this case, now you have the Lions, who they could pretty much go anywhere in this case. I don't think personally they need a QB. I think they're behind who they're behind. I think, hey, Goff is like their man. I think that Goff is actually a better player than he was when he actually did go to the Super Bowl, in my own opinion, though. So, because I mean, if everyone remembers that streak they had, fire.
Yeah.
But a nice, fun team to watch, and let's see if they can keep it up. But I mean, hey, especially if we go by their needs here at wide receiver, tight end, and D line, I think they'll probably take the. I mean, hey, if Jalen Carter falls past 5, I think they're just going to take it compared to what's here. Because I mean, unless you're thinking, I've seen a lot of Devin Witherspoon though. So
I
what's
think
your
they're
thoughts on
looking
that?
for a guy to pair up opposite of is it Okuda? Jeff
Yeah.
Okuda
hmm
from who they got last year. But they went out and they got another cornerback from
Cam Sutton.
Pittsburgh, Sutton. Yeah.
hmm
I wouldn't be surprised. See, that's a tough one, right? Because a lot of mock drafts I was seeing before the Cam Sutton trade had them going out and getting another cornerback,
Yeah.
and just to create that young, lockdown secondary for them.
They do have a good defensive unit though. If we're going to talk about James Houston, Aiden
Aiden Hutchinson,
Hutchinson,
yeah, they got dogs out there,
I think they're going to still go probably with the corner because if you get a corner now, I mean, you pretty much solidify your secondary.
and
You
there's
get
no
Jalen
guarantee
Carter, you
that Cam
solidify your
Sutton.
day line.
Yeah, and there's no. See, that's the thing though. If they went out and they got Jalen Carter and Aiden Hutchinson, dude, your D line solid.
You're becoming another 49ers group. That's basically because I still remember when the 49ers was at 3 drafts in the row, they kept
They
drafting
kept
like D
drafting D
linemen.
linemen, edges. Do you think that they would choose a corner instead of a D line in this situation then?
Man, because it's also a matter of how far will Jalen Carter fall in this case.
Yeah.
Because if Seahawks don't pick him up, you think within the next couple or so, basically he Jalen Carter shouldn't go out of the top 10. That's what his agent has actually been saying. So I'm still kind of thinking they might go corner and get that solidification. But do you want to be spicy today?
Let's be spicy today.
They take Jalen Carter and have a D line unit of everyone's wet dreams, if you
And
will.
so, there's a lot of a lot of alternate universes in this too. Like if we went out and we drafted Jalen Carter, we just went with the stock not, pick that everyone seems to have, then I can see lines, maybe instead of getting an edge, they'll go out and get a corner. But
hmm
there's
hmm
a lot of alternate realities we're creating here.
Yep. So now you have the Raiders that the same team that picked up, and they still need apparently quarterback is their biggest need, but they have Garoppolo. They signed him. It's not really like a long term deal with him. It's more of like that 1 to 2 year. Let's see what you can do. But I think Garoppolo might be solid out in Las Vegas. With the Las Vegas Raiders. So
So
I don't think
for
yeah.
Garoppolo to be solid, what does he absolutely need? A good run game and a good offensive line. And he's just he's
Oh,
the backpack, right?
indeed. So what are you thinking today, my friend?
I want to go O line. But it's kind of
Oh.
high for anything but a tackle.
Mm, yeah. Oh, of course. Right. I think if I'm trying to think if they have a solid, I mean, they have like a decent unit at offensive line, but if they want to try to protect Garoppolo, they go tackle. You still got Devin Witherspoon. And that's also one of their needs as well. I
Actually,
don't know if
I think that's a good point.
yeah, I think they're gonna actually. I mean, if Devin
The,
Witherspoon falls past the Lions in this case, because everyone's been mocking Devin Witherspoon to the Lions, I think they'll just pick him up. Why not?
they haven't had a lockdown corner for a while, have they?
Oh my gosh, you're right.
So yeah, I think they're gonna
Oh
go out there
man.
and try to get a lockdown corner.
They said, we want to start fresh at the corner. Devin Witherspoon from Illinois, you are a Las Vegas Raiders. Please don't gamble, though.
Please don't gamble. It seems like everybody that goes out there does something stupid.
Of course, man. But now you got an interesting team up here. You got the Falcons, right?
According to PFF, only three needs quarterback, which is surprising to me because they went out and drafted Desmond Ritter last year.
Indeed, because right now we don't know if Desmond Ritter is the truth, but I think they're going to give Desmond Ritter a chance. I would say it can be a need. Is it their priority need, though? No. I think they might even pair a receiver with him. They could also go after an edge if there is one out here. I do see Lucas Van Ness is still here if they want to try to boost up that D line. They have, at least if anything, you have Jackson Smith and Jigba right here from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
You also got Quentin Johnston. I mean, I know people are kind of ranking him higher. I just feel that Jackson is actually a better receiver all around than Quentin, but that's just my own opinion.
Do we? Let's.
Yeah.
This is
What
So
you think?
a lot of this is based off of the players that are left available, right? And so Will Levis
Mhm.
is the best quarterback left available. Do you think Falcons will go out and draft him when they have Desmond Ritter? Then it
Man,
becomes
just
a question of how far does Will Levis drop because a lot of the teams after him might not be as quarterback needy as well.
I'm gonna actually let you know this might even be a Will Levis drops mock draft at this point because I
Yeah.
can't even see Will Levis going to the Falcons because they have Desmond Ritter. What they either will do is either you give that team a better chance at edge, or you go for a wide receiver for your young quarterback.
Mhm. So
And
I will say Tennessee is at number 11. I think that's about as low as Will Levis will drop. If
oof,
if if
oh, that's true, very true.
yeah.
I'm thinking that they're gonna go. Thinking about this real quick, I think they're gonna probably go for like an edge. I'm thinking Lucas Van Ness from Iowa.
Okay.
Either that, or we have one of the top receivers up here to pair with their quarterback. But I do know they have Drake London, if I remember correctly, from from
Yeah,
the
and
last
that's what I
one.
was trying to think was what kind of a receiver would you categorize Drake London as, and who are the guys that are
Red
left
zone
of it?
threat. Red
Red
zone
zone
threat.
threat,
In my opinion, tall. He basically is just like a who am I thinking of? Basically, just that red zone threat that you
like
would
a
love to
Julio
throw
type
to.
of, but like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So in this case, uh, I'm thinking edge. Actually, I'm getting a little spicy. But what about you, my friend?
I can agree with that. I mean, that's why we're talking through this, and I just wanted to look up Drake London, 6'4" height, definitely a red zone threat. So you're not gonna draft like if you're gonna draft another wide receiver, you usually don't draft another guy that's that type of receiver. You'll draft like something complementary
They said
like
they
a
want to
speedy
go on the
receiver.
defense, and of course, and I think be a little spicy. I think they're going to draft Lucas Van Ness. That'll be interesting. They boost that defense, which has been kind of average the past few
They've been making
seasons.
strides. I mean, they've been getting a lot. So if they go out and get Lucas Van Ness, I wouldn't have any issue with it.
Right, but now you have
Protect
the
him.
Bears.
Protect him. I think we can agree that's all that they should use on this pick is somehow.
Protect Peter Skoronsky. That I mean, that's automatic. I'm sorry, that's automatic
But okay,
because
really quick though, we have to
we could
think.
talk about it. We could
Yeah,
talk
let's
about
talk
it.
about it. Pete Scaronzi, what is he a left tackle or right tackle? What
Left.
which? Okay,
He's
and
gonna go left tackle, man.
okay, and did Bears went out and got an O line in free agency? Was he a left tackle? Or was he a right tackle?
I do remember he was just a. It was I believe it was a tackle, if not a guard. But at the same time, they need to after what. Man, after what
What that
that
man?
quarterback what that man Justin Fields went through, tackle is your best bet, and the best tackle on the board is Peter Skoronsky. That's a fact right there.
Yeah,
So
you can
take that
if
first tackle.
yeah, that's fair. I'm just gonna look up the who they did go out and sign, but we can continue on.
Of course. Now you have the Eagles, who came off of a Super Bowl loss, and you have a little bit of like a little bit of a mix of everything right here in their needs. It's not like they need a strong need. But I think they're gonna go a receiver, in my opinion. But what do you think?
They got AJ Brown.
Hmm.
They have Devonte Smith. So going for
This is
another
true.
receiver for me probably would be
Lock it up.
a little aggressive for their taste. What have they lost in free agency? They lost pieces on their
Oh,
defense.
they lost defense, but not many defensive. I mean, if anything, you have Brian Branch,
Who
which
is
has
a
been
guy
a
that
fan for.
even like people are mocking goes to Seahawks, because he is kind of highly touted.
Of
Do you
course.
I don't think they go for well, they did lose CJ Gardner Johnson is now a Lions player, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
safety. Hmm.
And so, Brian Branch, I can see, a safety going in to replace him. Does he play free safety or strong safety? I don't know off the top of
I
my head.
feel like Brian Branch can play either one in this
Okay.
case.
Yeah, and they might do like some sort of like, like a
You think they
nickel
would
or
reach
dime
for
type
Brian
of.
Branch in this case, like passing up all of this talent right here?
Because the thing is like you look at the talent that's there, right? They're not going to get Will Levis. They're not going to get wide
I feel
receiver
like
would
they're
be a
gonna get.
stretch.
I feel like they can get another weapon. I feel like it, but especially when you're looking at both Jackson and Quentin on the board right now, and
What about
Christian
Who's
Gonzalez is still
Kalijah
here.
Cansey? I haven't actually heard of him.
Oh yeah, D lineman from Pittsburgh, really fast and quick. He's been kind of going up in rankings as of late.
I could see
Pretty
actually
solid.
if he fits that profile, then I can see him the Eagles going after him because they did lose Javon Hargraves. We got to remember that.
This is very true, and why not? Collegiate Cansey kind of it's not too bad. Let's say they kind of reach for a D lineman. Why
Yeah,
not?
because let's think about it, right? Because they still have Darius Slay. They still
Mm-hmm.
have who's the other guy on the other side? It was Bradbury.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on their D
Yeah.
line, they brought back Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. They lost Javon Hargraves. They still got most of their linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know if they go interior D, I think that'd be a solid pick, and no one would complain on that one.
Of course. And actually, right here, this is interesting. This is what you mentioned earlier. Now we are at Tennessee at pick 11. Wide receiver and O line, but don't you feel like they need another position after someone's recent outing or recent play on the field?
We talking
In
Derrick
my
Henry or who we talking?
Oh, I'm talking Malik Willis.
Oh
That
yeah,
man was
yeah,
not
okay.
ready
I
for the
thought you
NFL.
kind of threw me off on a curve because I was like, wait, I thought we agreed they're gonna get a quarterback.
Of
I think
course. And that I think Will Levis is actually going to be a Titan. That's actually kind of like a I've
I
seen like a small number of people throw him at the Titans if he were to drop this low, but
I think
that's
that's
my pick
solid.
for him.
It'd be funny, if it'd be funny if they didn't like. Wouldn't it be the most like Texans thing ever if Titans draft someone else and then they also draft Will Levis at 12?
Oh my
That would be so
gosh, man.
stupid.
But yeah, so Will Levis, I think what they're gonna do, get Will Levis, have a quarterback battle, but maybe Willis will just be that
He-
backup, and or he could be on his way out to another team at some point.
I mean, I think that's part of the reason why the Titans drafted him. They drafted him in the third round because it was like a low risk, high reward type of investment, right? And with, I mean, what we saw out of him last year, not a lot to be optimistic about in terms of
That's
his ability
true.
to throw the ball.
And of course, we do know O line is a big need for them too because
That they were getting killed.
they were getting killed, and we're gonna go against the grain. They said, you know what, we just need that quarterback now.
Yeah.
But of course, I think we could always see a tackle going to them as well. But now you have the Texans, their
What's that
second pick.
second thing on that needs?
That's wide receiver, and honestly, I rather would not pick Quentin. I would pick Jackson Smith, in my
I've heard
opinion,
better
though.
things about Jackson Smith, to be honest, too.
Of course, and man, Christian Gonzalez still being here at this stage, and that's all. That's one thing as well. But I think Jackson too. You have to pair your young quarterback with a good receiver. I think Jackson fits the bill for
Yeah,
that. That's
I'm
two
all on
needs
board
off the
on.
board for them.
Yeah.
But now you
Okay.
have the Jets.
So you just mentioned Christian Gonzalez. Do you want to get a little spicy?
I'm actually going to take the tackle on this one because if you're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers, that man's going to be mad at your team and your
Yeah.
franchise if you do not protect that man. And I'd rather take the second the second best tackle on the board, which is Paris Johnson Jr. Especially like if he falls around here, it's actually pretty good. I think tackleable. What do you think, my friend?
That I just wanted to. I was just trying to stir the pot a little bit because
Ooh,
I
what you
could.
want? Talk
No,
to me.
because that's the reason why I brought up Christian Gonzalez was because like, do they go out and get another top corner, pair him up with Sauce Gardner, and just lock down the secondary as a
Who
no
is
fly
who
zone?
is paired up with Sauce Gardner currently
DJ
right now?
Reed.
Oh, you can't disrespect DJ Reed like
No, of
that.
course not.
He was solid for them, man.
Yeah, of course he was, but he could be with more passing situations, three corners out there. You can move DJ Reed to a nickel type of position.
Oh
He's got
my
that
gosh, I'm
speed.
with it. Screw it. Christian
We're,
Gonzalez. I love it. Christian Gonzalez. They said we need a tackle. Actually, no. Hold up a second. Who is their current tackle on their teams? I
Dwayne
do
Brown's
think,
on left.
but Dwayne Brown's old.
Old.
Come on, they have to take that tackle. You can be spicy
Yeah.
with Christian, but come on.
All right,
First of all,
let's be realistic. It's probably going to be O line at this point.
and
Tackle.
I'm gonna give him Paris Johnson Jr. with that one. But now
Another
we got
team that
the
has
Patriots
quarterback at need because who knows what's going on with Mac Jones. There's stories out there
or
that
his copycat behind him.
God, they literally look like the exact same person. But there's a golfer too. His name is Jordan Spieth, and he looks exactly like them too. They all kind of came out of the same damn mold.
Oh, the same damn mold. Oh man. And like even just looking at what's on the board here, it's kind of risky if you try to go any lower than like Joey Porter Jr. in my opinion. Um yeah, that's kind of weird because they took another tackle. I'm not sure who would be left for tackles right now. Darnell Wright is here. That is one of their needs after QB, and then of course edge. We have Nolan Smith
He's a
from
speed,
Georgia.
but yeah, so the other weird thing is Patriots never draft this high, so we really don't have anything to base this decision off of, do we?
Exactly, because this is like one of their off years in this case. I don't think they're gonna go quarterback. That's I don't. I
Because
feel
whoever's
like,
left on the board, there's no one left on the board. The only way they would go quarterback is if Will Levis was still there.
of course, yeah. So in this case, I'm not sure what they would do here. You could always go corner and just try to
Should we just
solidify.
say, we haven't been thinking about this too, but just BPA? If once we're getting to a certain point where best player available, they haven't had. It's not on there, but
They
the
haven't had that
Patriots
good
don't have a
receiver.
wide receiver. Like
Ooh, you think
Jacoby
they
Myers isn't there anymore, is he?
Quentin? Yeah, yeah, he's gone actually. So they replaced Jacoby Myers with Quentin Johnson, huh?
Actually, I'm surprised they didn't put that there. Like, like Patriots have zero wide receivers. I thought maybe they have like
I wouldn't
N'Keal
say
Harry.
zero now, but
Oh, they
hmm.
got Juju. I forgot about Juju, but it's not nothing
Paired,
right.
well, Juju, he's not a good receiver on his own. I think they will go Quentin Johnston here. Try to keep throwing receivers at
Can
their
we
quarterback.
open up his profile really quick under show more? I'm just kind of curious as to like what they have in here. I guess as all
Not much besides good grades, and unless you even if you have PFFs, PFF stuff. But
I can
that's
okay.
neither here nor there.
Yeah, we can go Quentin Johnston. I was just curious if it had things like like combine data, that kind of thing.
No, of course, my man.
You know how we are
Um,
with numbers.
oh, of course. So Green Bay Packers.
It says
Aaron
quarterback right
Rodgers.
there.
It does say quarterback, but they're giving it to Jordan Love. He's been
Yeah, I don't
cooking
think.
behind the
Yeah,
scenes. Um, you would think they would give him a receiver. I'm actually gonna still be on the good old Green Bay Packers like traditional train and give them either Brian Branch or Christian Gonzalez in this case. I feel like they're gonna go either or on that one. They always go defense instead of support their QB.
yeah. That's like a fact
Or they get kind of cute and get Dalton Kincaid as a solid security blanket
for Jordan
for
Love. Um, Nah, man, I think they're gonna go. They'll probably go. Christian Gonzalez has been on the board for long enough. I think they might go like lockdown
pick
corner.
BPA in this case, huh?
Yeah,
Now the Commanders. Um I think they're going to give Sam Howell a chance.
yeah. Because I
Tis
mean,
the season.
I think so. I think we can. I think we can. We can. We can. What's the right way of saying this?
hmm
In terms of like what quality of players are left on the board, at least in the quarterback position. I don't think any of those guys that are on the board now are considered like first or not a late first round at best.
Of course, of course.
And so what do you think with the
We
with Washington?
have Who do we have here? So so after they have O line stuff, but I don't think a guard or a center is gonna do it. No, wow, Bijan Robinson. I think they either give their quarterback a safety. I think they could give their quarterback a safety blanket with Dalton Kincaid, or boost up their defense with either Brian Branch or I think either Deontay Banks or Joey Porter Jr. In my opinion.
That's a good. This is a tough one, man.
But who's left on the board?
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, like when with tight ends, you never see if a tight end is going in the first round, they're usually going high. And so I wouldn't expect them to go out and draft Dalton Kincaid, at least at this position. I
Famous
would
last words. No, I'm
famous last words.
kidding. You think they're
Um,
gonna? Someone's got to pick up Brian Branch, right?
yeah,
But who
I
is that
think
there? Who I think their safety is there. They already have good safeties locked up for them, don't they?
I can look that up as well. Let me give me 1 second. So they do have Logan Thomas, I think, as tight end.
Yeah, but Logan Thomas be having injury issues
He
though. That
does.
is one thing.
So they run base 4-3-D. ESPN tells you that now. I didn't know that, or maybe they
Ooh,
always did.
spicy. Whatever they can figure out.
So
But in
their
this,
strong safety is Cameron Curl, and their free safety is Derek Forrest. Who
oof,
two I don't really.
I
I'm
think
not
they
too
could
familiar.
go. I think they can go the route and like just get Brian Branch from Alabama, solidify the
Do
back.
it.
Boom, Brian Branch to the commies, if you
The
will.
commies. So now Pittsburgh.
Steelers. Hmm.
They got so they need tackle, linebacker, or DB according to PFF.
I think they're gonna choose. I think they're either gonna go after Joey Porter or Deontay Banks. I think they need
I can
to.
agree.
Um, and I don't really have much of like. I think like similar. I think Joey. I think they're gonna just go Joey Porter Jr. In this case, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's just like the only right one for right here. But what do you think, my friend?
Joey Porter, I can see him. Can we look at, or I guess it doesn't show you information with what kind of
Nope.
cornerbacks are. So yeah, we can go Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, man. You don't look. We're armchair GMs. You think we know about this stuff? We just choose the best person on the board.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We just peer pressure ourselves. We just go by ADP.
Of course, but Lions. Now, Lions with who they got before. We still have I think they can go Dalton Kincaid if he's still on the board at this point.
I
Because they
replace TJ Hawkinson.
of course they need a replacement. They said Dalton Kincaid's the one. I don't know. I don't think Dalton Kincaid will fall this low, but hey, in this universe, to the Titans, man,
Yeah.
Goff is gonna have weapons, if you will.
Bucks. They recently got our guy Ryan Neal.
Yeah, will he be the guy? I don't know, but with what's out here right now, I also think they should. I'm not going to look at quarterback because
It doesn't make sense. They're going to be definitely
they
reaching.
got Baker Mayfield manning it. I think Dalton Kincaid would have been good for the Bucks as well, but since he's off the board and with who you have left, you either take care of that D line or you go after maybe an offensive line.
So what do you think on the D line? Like Brian Brees,
Yeah, Brian
Bresee,
Bresee. Yeah, it's Brian
Bresee.
Bresee. I think they go interior and go just get Brian Bresee, pair him with Vita Vea, just have a monster D line, of course, keep the
They
defense
had a
up.
lot of success with that type of a unit.
Of course. I think they just keep it going, have a strong defense, and then just make it work, see what works on the offense. Because they have enough weapons still on the offense. I think this is the last year where Godwin and the rest are on contract and stuff. And they're pretty expensive contracts at that.
Mm.
But
So
look,
the Seahawks are up right now, and I just wanted to point out before we actually start discussing,
hmm
guys. According to our draft, guys like Miles Murphy and Nolan Smith are still on the board, and they're
oof,
two names that we thought that would be associated with Seahawks. So if Seahawks do end up doing the vanilla pick and getting Jalen Carter, we still have the opportunity of getting guys like that.
that is very true. This is a deep edge class, and that's why a lot of people would give Jalen Carter automatically, and they just said deal with those issues because I think Seahawks is, even any players that were problem players that went to the Seahawks had a great time with the franchise overall, from what we've seen in the past like 5 years or so. But in this case, they already took an edge, unless they can just put another edge alongside.
I mean, with
uh,
the guys that are left on the board for us, it's not a pick that might be sexy with a lot of people, but maybe they're looking for the guy that can play opposite Tariq Woolen.
ooh, Deontay Banks from Maryland drops this low. In this case, I guess ADP around 22, but I think this is still a good solid pick. Um, yeah, give Woolen
Even
someone to work with.
even though the Seahawks haven't drafted a corner that high and God knows how long, but
Oh my gosh.
that's neither here nor there.
Of course. But yeah, who are the Dolphins? Pff, they forfeited that pick. Now we're on to the Chargers. And I do have a spicy pick, but I want to hear what your pick would be for the Chargers, knowing what they
Um,
need.
so I mean, so their needs according to PFF: wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback. We took the cornerback that they probably would have taken
Of
in our little
course.
mock. Do you think they just go BPA?
They could, they could give a little juice on the edge, but I'm also thinking they want to give an offensive weapon, if you will.
They do need to do
Um,
that.
but what I'm thinking of though is Bijan Robinson.
Just do it. Just do it. I would pay money to see that. B. John Robinson and Justin Herbert.
Yo, and
That's
then Austin Eckler as your pass catching bet, bro.
but
Come on,
Austin Eckler with he's on his way out though.
exactly. And then you get Bijan Robinson right behind him. They play together for a good
No,
season.
no,
It's probably
no. I mean that Austin Eckler like requested a trade. He's leaving the Chargers.
well, he requested, but we got to see what happens with
Yeah,
that
but
because,
I mean I think that's another topic. But I think Brandon Staley gave his blessing and all that. But regardless, you know, B. John Robinson is finally taking off the board.
of course. And then now we go to the Ravens, which we don't know what's going to happen with the Lamar Jackson situation.
That's a
Um,
mess, ain't it?
a huge mess. So let's just assume they keep Lamar in this case. or
Are they gonna?
assuming not.
So I mean, are they gonna get him a weapon?
You either got a weapon or you get the. I mean, one of
Edge.
the you could give a weapon, but all I think the only weapon left is Zay Flowers, which I've heard Zay Flowers is like the best route runner out of all the receivers. Some people are saying he's the best receiver um, in this
Hmm.
group, and they've only I think for the Ravens they've only been getting so many deep threats and stuff like that.
I
But
feel like yeah, they might want to try to break the trend. So if let's okay, so if they go wide receiver Zay Flowers, I think we could agree on. If they go edge,
I think
Nolan
Nolan
Smith or
Smith.
Miles Murphy.
Hmm.
So now we just got to decide whether do they want to go with a wide receiver? Do they want to go with an edge?
I think if they I personally think they'll probably go edge with this deep class. I don't think Nolan Smith and Miles Murphy are going to fall too far off of this. I personally think they go edge, just dig in, especially if Nolan Smith is here. Um, Usually, especially even right here, he's supposed to be gone already,
Yeah.
but he's here. I think that's a steal. I think they go edge, but if you really want to take that chance with Zay Flowers, man,
Ah,
that's
man,
a
this
once
is
in a lifetime pick. I feel like with Zay Flowers,
you
I might
think?
just be hyping him up a little too much. I mean, there is still Jordan Addison as well, but
But we also got to think what kind of an organization is the Ravens? They always put money in their defense.
of course, and I think with that they'll go Nolan Smith. If you agree
Yeah,
with me, my friend.
yeah, I think so.
Oops.
Best edge left on the board.
Of course, Nolan Smith to the Ravens, and now you have the Vikings. And
The
I already have in my head. I have a side of the ball that they definitely need to focus on, but
what are you
which is
thinking?
defense.
Defense,
Defense. That
yeah,
defense was
yeah.
horrible. Offense was great. Um, they did lose one of their longtime
Adam
receivers.
Thielen.
Yep.
He
So
was now
he's
on
gone.
Carolina, I believe.
You know what though? I think they go. I don't even think they do defense. They said, "Nah, screw that." I say Zay Flowers. Pair him up. Have two good route runners on the team.
That would be unreal.
You'll have the greatest offense. I can't speak for your defense though, Vikings fans. I mean, I know probably a lot of you are saying, "Go get edge." Look at those two edges right there. But
Yeah.
why do edge when you can just have more weapons like
Fuck it,
Zay
it's the
Flowers?
Vikings.
It's the Vikings. They'll choose Zay Flowers if he falls right there to
All
them.
right, but we can stop being we can be a little bit more pedantic or prudent. What's the right word? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's fine.
We could be a little bit more vanilla with the Jags. They got edge there as one of their needs, and
Miles Murphy is
there's
just
a great
right
one left on
here.
the board right there just for them.
Of course. Now you have the Giants.
I
That's
don't
a.
know. I don't know what they want to do. Brian Double looks like he wants to go out there and play.
I mean, that man will always go out
Give
and
me a
play. But
helmet. Danny needs me.
oh my gosh! But do you think
Put
they
me
would
in
need
at
a
fullback.
stop? Put me in.
He tells himself you just see him like trying to lay out
Oh
blocks in front
man,
of Danny Jones.
leave me alone, bro. But I think the Giants they have I think they could go wide receiver, but
They haven't had a good wide receiver in a while too.
I think Jordan Addison to the Giants would be a good one right here. But looking elsewhere, I don't know if they need an off. I don't think they need a tackle. I think they lost. We got Evan Brown from the Giants, but that's like their interior. That's why center is
He
up
came
right
from the
there.
Lions, I believe, right?
Not excuse me, not Evan Brown. I'm thinking of another. They did lose a guard though.
I can't remember his name too. Yeah, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But yeah, so
Right.
we can see them doing an offensive line pick.
Could, but and then also, but wide receiver, you have Jordan Addison staring you right in the face though too. And he was a
I think at this once you get down to this level, like you look at his ADP, it's at 25 as well. I think once you're at this level, you're kind of
anything can happen here.
anything could happen. Yeah, you're kind of winging it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Addison goes to the Giants. They go out there and they get their guy.
And I was gonna say like the Dallas Cowboys wanted Bijan. So I mean I was even talking to some people. Dallas would have to trade up, but I definitely don't think Jerry is a good GM. So he's just gonna stay and pick at whatever's left over. Um, you could go edge with them on their defense. You could go. I would think they should go tackle, just knowing that their O line is the way it is. I think it was Tyron Smith. I know he won't play the same after that big injury he had.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have like a good pick of like Darnell Wright. You have Broderick Jones here as well. I think they go. They take they basically are going to be boring. They're not going to be flashy. Probably will be flashy
So
on the
special
actual
teams.
day. Oh, there you go.
What are we
My
thinking,
man.
dude?
Look at you. Your brain. Special teams
Let's see.
punting up
Actually,
there.
can you sort by ADP? I'm just kind of curious on. I just want
I,
to see
I
who's the highest taken.
don't think I can sort by that actually, but this is funny. It's based. Oh, Alex Ward from UCF. That'll be
Long
the six.
snapper.
No, BT Potter from Clemson. And oh wow, UTEP ADP of 60 right here for him, even though he's ranked lower. That'll
Really?
be interesting. Yeah. Hey, kickers and punters, man. But
Anyway,
I'm thinking that in my head,
they're going boring. I think we're on the same page with that one.
yeah, I'm thinking they'll go Broderick Jones over Anton Harrison and Darnell Wright.
I can
Um,
see it. I think that and once we get down to this level, ADP, we're doing statistics now. ADP kind of takes over the turn like the science of large numbers.
of
And
course.
so, a lot of people have him going higher than, Darnell Wright, who PFF ranks as 20th, but the average draft position is 44 and a half. So,
Hmm. Now you got a good one here. You have the Bills. It only says DB. Granted,
which I'm kind of
I
surprised.
yeah. Actually, well,
Linebacker,
yeah,
probably.
linebacker for sure, unless they have someone to replace him. Was it Tremaine
Tremaine
Edmonds?
Edmonds.
Yeah. But linebacker at this point, you could dip. I want to actually see the linebackers. Never actually got to see where
Who
they're
are their
at.
corners as well? While you're doing that, let me.
Yeah, because the fact they say they need DB, oh yeah, you're not gonna really get much here. Man, whatever happened to that one linebacker from? Okay, I guess he's just not going. Okay, so yeah, linebacker. That's definitely not gonna be a pick here. I'm thinking they either go edge,
So
beef up that D line again because I mean their offense wasn't bad, but that's what I'm thinking. Or Emmanuel Forbes. That's like the only DB at this high left. It's a little bit of a reach, but that's just me.
I edge sounds like a good position. So let me uh round off all these players that they have in their defense.
Of course.
So left defensive edge, Greg Rousseau. Left DT, Ed Oliver. Right
Mm-hmm.
DT, Daquan Jones. Right DE, Von Miller. That's the one I'm looking at right now.
Yeah,
Weak
that
line.
injury.
They at their will they got Bernard. At their Mike
Mm-hmm.
they got Tyrell Dodson. At their Sam they got Matt Milano, who is probably the best linebacker on that unit. In their secondary they got Tre'Davious White, great corner. Jordan
Of
Poyer,
course.
Micah Hyde, and Dane Jackson. So cornerback
Oh,
and defensive end or edge both seem like viable positions.
I think they go and just get what's left on the board with Emmanuel Forbes and see what they got in him, or they just say, "Hey, let's go edge on that D line." But at the very least, you need to do something about that about DB at some point.
Mhm.
DB could also refer to technically safeties in a sense, but hey, what you thinking though?
I I think they go edge, man. And I think the Bills kind of had this identity for a long time where they just kept drafting
Ooh.
D linemen year over year, kind of like the Niners, but probably not as well executed. But they always had this kind of identity under Sean McDermott, and so I think they go back to that.
Hmm. Now we have the Bengals themselves. Some stuff they do need because they did lose some tight ends, interior defensive
They need
linemen.
money.
They need
With
money
with the
and a
with the
defensive
with the
back
29th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints select $3 million for
for their cap
for that
space.
broke ass.
um, man, I'm trying not to bust out laughing here. Um, I think at this right here with the Bengals, though, I'm thinking they're going to go Michael Mayer. Give them a solid security blanket. Michael Mayer was actually pretty good with Notre Dame this past season. I mean, you give him you give Joe Burr another a solid tight end for them, and I think they can make another run. In my opinion, though.
I think I can get behind that. I think for the most part, like we're at pick number 28, not at pick number 29 yet, but we're picking number 28.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of the edges, it is a deep edge class, but a lot of the high value edges have are finally off the board with Will McDonald being the last one.
Of
So
course.
I can see them, giving Joey B another tight end kind of as like a final push to get them, what they need because ain't nothing better than having a two-way tight end.
Of course, and he was a really solid receiver too, and he can. I feel if I remember correctly, he was a solid blocker as well. So at least he has a head start among some other tight ends. But man, Michael Mayer to the Bengals, and
Yeah.
hopefully maybe another Super Bowl run. We'll see. But now you have the broke team on the board, Saints.
Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun on that one.
Don't worry. Much love to New Orleans, though.
Yeah, great food.
Great food, of course. You got O line needs. You got D line. Well, in terms of what's being reported here, D line and corner. I personally think they can go Emmanuel Forbes at this stage. It's very low. They could. Uh, I don't think they need. I don't know if they need a tackle. I think if I remember correctly, Darnell White could. You could get Darnell Wright and then push him into guard if you wanted to. If you really wanted to give
Yeah, now we're
the
getting to the
quarterback
point
some
where we
help.
can start looking at like those kind of picks, right? Because
Hmm.
now, most of the guys that are off the board are off the board that are kind of their specialty players at their position.
I think if I remember, Dwan Jones could also be moved to
Is Dewan
guard.
Jones the one that's like 7 feet tall and like
Oh, that's
400
right. No,
pounds?
it's not Dwan Jones. It's not him. I think it was Darnell Wright that it was one of those like tackle guard variants, if not
Mhm.
Anton Harrison. But
Do
I'm
we
not
think they go?
seeing.
Do we
Mhm.
go? Do we think they're going to go vanilla with Anton Harrison or Darnell Wright then?
I think they either get a cornerback in Emmanuel Forbes. I mean, I feel like they kind of need some defensive help on the back end, but I think they can go. I think they can go Emmanuel Forbes personally. Get a corner.
Yeah,
Get
let's
a
say
corner
because
now, and then you can
getting
get your guard and centers later.
who's their other corner? It's he's also from Ohio State, I think, but we are talking about Dewan Jones, but what's his name? It's
There is a guard here though, in Osiris Torrance from Florida. They could just be, they could just say, you know what, they go guard. I think they should go offensive line. I think they need help.
yeah.
I'm gonna say they're gonna take a um based on position. I'm gonna say they go and pick Osiris Torrance from Florida.
Mhm.
Get it's not the sexiest pick, but you need an offensive line at the end of the day.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm looking up the corner. I'm so pissed at myself for blanking on his name. What is it? Marshawn Lattimore. That's what it was. So
Oh yeah, of course.
yeah. So I think I think they can go with guard on this one. I was just trying to remember his name.
Of course. Last two picks. We got the Eagles and then we have the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Eagles again on the board.
Who did we give them earlier on?
We gave them, man, it's been a while. So yeah, we gave them interior D lineman Kalisha Cansey. So now it's either whatever's left on the board. I'm trying to see. We still have Josh Downs from North Carolina. That'll be a little bit of a reach, but hey, if you want to get more weapons, you can. We have some tackles. I see a linebacker kind of sneaking in here. Oh man, yeah, we got a
This is
corner still.
this is tough, ain't it? Because like we already said that like they have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. It's probably one of the best tandems in the league, if not the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
nothing on safety right here. Like most of this is going to be all second rounders, or if they, you maybe could see a trade down, but I'm thinking maybe, man, take you could go BPA, get an edge, another edge,
Another edge.
for them. They already got D lineman. BJ Ojolari is still here too. That's actually one
Cam
thing.
Smith, but yeah, well, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of there's a couple of corners, but they don't really need a corner. I mean,
Yeah.
unless they're looking long term after Darius Slay, because I think Darius Slay is only on a 2-year deal.
Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, and not much in terms of a guard up here, but they could dip. And the non-sexy pick is a kind of reach for Steve. I'm not sure where their second round pick is, but hey, that's
What?
that. If they
Yeah,
really were to try to get that, but
I'm
what you
kind of
think?
stumped with this one, dude. Like maybe
Man,
they
there's
go
no
out and they
receivers left.
yeah, or maybe like they go out and just get like the tight end that was there down from Washington State that you were saying. Like maybe they just go out there and get another tight end for Dallas Goddard.
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
just like one of those things. Once you're at this level, like your
anything could
pick,
kind of
anything
go.
goes. Yeah.
I think they're gonna just try to keep the O line strong, pick the next available guard on the board, and go for Steve Avila from
Okay,
TCU.
I can see it.
And then now you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who they kind of actually had a lot of players leaving.
Frank Clark is gone, so I can see them going for an edge.
Yep, you do have Felix Uzamat right here. So, I mean, hey, you could go edge, you
They
could
actually
go
did
any
lose a
D line.
lot of players too. I
Lot
mean,
of
because
players.
they lost Orlando Brown Jr. as well, and
Juju,
that's
they could go for Josh Downs if they want to give Patrick Mahomes more weapons. Or I feel like they can just go on the top edge that's there, if not BJ Ojolari, who's here as well. I don't really have much of a, in terms of these two edges, maybe BJ Ojolari can kind of edge out. Haha.
mhm. um. I think about this one. I think they go. Yeah, I think Ojulari.
They lose Frank Clark, who's apparently like for the Kansas City Chiefs. the man of the hour when it comes to the playoffs, getting
So
sacks.
so now the question is, so we think that yeah, we're for real. Uh, so we think that Chiefs will go edge, but do we think that so what is the pros and cons versus Felix versus BJ Ojulari?
Not much. I haven't watched much film on them myself. I do know BJ Ojulari just edges out a little bit more quicker, a little bit more stronger. But
Probably fits in
I,
that mold, the
yeah, I
Frank
think
Clark
they just,
mold.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go BJ Ojulari for them. And oh my gosh, we get a grade. Look at us. No, I'm kidding.
What
But
is it?
anywho, that's pretty
Oh,
much it.
subscribe to PFF Plus to get your draft grade. No, the paywall.
No, I give this draft grade a A plus because we are the best. We're the best armchair general managers you can ever get for any of your teams.
And that's our
But
opinion.
just to recap though, just only for the Seahawks. At the very least, we said for the Seahawks they went edge and corner, so we basically focused on defense like we wanted them to. They may go for a quarterback. I do have an idea of a quarterback, but not in the first round.
No.
So
Who do you think it just while we're chatting on it?
either I wish I can kind of see who it would be, but actually I could just let me just redo this one. Um oh, wow. That's funny. Pretty much you either have Devin it was Devin Hooker or you have the quarterback from UCLA. The
Dorian Thompson Robinson, I think is what his
yeah,
name is,
or
or
DTR.
Robinson.
DTR is a
Yeah.
lot of people have been calling him DTR lately, so
I
DTR
I can see him like being one of those guys that Seahawks
third
get in
round
the third
pick.
round. Yeah,
Mhm.
just out of
The
nowhere does plays pretty well. Hendon Hooker, he's coming back from injury, I believe. I don't know what his latest is, but
and
even
that's why
Hendon
he'll
Hooker,
drop further. He'll drop a little bit further because I'd rather just pick a quarterback that's still healthy. And you don't have to worry about. I think it was like was it ACL or broken leg? It was one of the two. It was a leg
yeah,
injury though. So
which
I
is
would go
tough for a
DTR.
guy, which is a tough for a guy like Hendon Hooker, who is kind of like a dual threat as well.
He was basically going to be kind of up there in the quarterbacks too. Maybe not the top five, but definitely a strong like mid round contender for the first round. But hey, but yeah, that was our first mock draft. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all kind of stayed a little bit. Uh, kind of been here for a little bit, but hey, that was kind of fun. And yeah, what do you think, buddy?
No, that's all from us. That's all from us here at Miss Reps. Thanks for joining us again. Just be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we hope to catch you again next time.
Peace.